To this Drive Live Careers interview. Today, I'm Dion Knowles and I'm joined by Patrick Mattis. You're an engineer through and through. What made you want to become an engineer when you were younger?
Wow, that's a really good question. I've always had a fascination with how things went together, how things worked. And I think also I was interested in making things kind of practical. I didn't really know what it was to be an engineer, to be honest, but I just liked science and sport. Now you might think, well, how does sport kind of link in? I've always loved team sports generally: football, cricket, basketball, rugby. And to be honest, I think I'm a bit of a sports nut. But what I didn't realize, and we'll come to this a bit later, was that whatever team activity, it doesn't have to be sport in particular, but I didn't realize that being interested in sport and being interested in team activities would really help my engineering career and really allow me to see how teams work unofficially through my sport and all that sort of thing, which actually translates directly into the work life, especially in the project management bit.
So you went to, I'm assuming you must have gone through O-levels or whatever, or GCSEs, whatever system you might.
O-levels, A-levels, yes. Yeah, just went through there and then went to Salford University where I did my first degree in mechanical engineering, which was great. Really enjoyed that. After I had done that, I then left and went to Cranfield Institute of Technology, as it was known then. It's now Cranfield University. And I did a master's there in robotics. And I was then fortunate enough to be able to join then the Rover Group as a graduate engineer. And they had me under their wings for 3-4 years, which was absolutely fantastic in terms of being able to get practical experience, real world experience of applying robotics in building cars, in this case, powertrain units. But yeah, it was just absolutely fantastic.
Right, so you did mechanical engineering, you decided to do robotics, and then you studied software engineering, is that correct? Or you did a software engineering role?
Yeah, so after I'd been at Rover for around 3 to 4 years, I then left and I went to do a PhD at Birmingham University. And at Birmingham University, I basically then transitioned from a purely mechanical engineer or robotics engineer, a mechanical engineer really, into an engineer that I had to be able to design electronics, I had to be able to write software, I had to be able to design PCBs, build mechanical kit. So the PhD at Birmingham basically translated me or pushed me further into this multidisciplinary role, where my software engineering skills or my software skills had to be basically improved dramatically. I wouldn't say I was a software engineer at the end of the PhD. What I was an engineer that could write software, but a software engineer would never, ever accept my software as being software engineering code. Because really what it was an engineer writing code to be able to do a job. And it's only having left that role, I then went on to do a postgrad at Aston University in high-speed machinery. So again, that's kind of more academic software. And I think I did improve my software engineering and control systems development there. But it's only when I got my first job at UK Robotics in Manchester that I began to become a software engineer in terms of doing the appropriate courses and being able to really understand how to architect and design software to be able to run efficiently and effectively. And previously, I was just someone that they would call a hacker. You would basically just get the stuff working, however it was going to work, it would work. And there you would go. But being at UK Robotics, 10 years, I think, 11 years, that basically turned me into what I would call a software engineer.
I want to learn a bit more about the robotics. So if you were to inspire somebody to go into robotics, have you got some examples of projects that you worked on?
Sorry, I'm just thinking about the examples that I can give, because I can't really talk about
yes, of course, that was a bit of a tricky one.
Yeah.
Can you talk about it in generic terms then, maybe?
Yeah, in generic terms, I think one of the biggest things that I would talk about, for example, for me, were snake robots. These are really hyper mobile, hyper redundant mechanisms. They've got a lot of degrees of freedom. And we were developing such robots to be able to enter restricted spaces, to be able to do all types of work. And for me, the more I think about robotics, I would personally like to see us develop social robots. We have a heck of a lot of people that are, especially in the lockdown, it's been emphasized, there's a lot of lonely people. There's a lot of people that need assistance. And obviously, it would be great if we were in the world of, there's this film called, I think, AI, or artificial intelligence, where, they've developed robots to be like children or to be helpers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be great if we could get to that point where robots were able to live in our spaces and to assist and to help.
Can we use humanoid robots in the industrial environment? And that's in context as we have limited access to various tasks in industry when we use traditional industrial robots. So it's using the use of humanoid robots in an industrial environment.
We're not there yet. There are companies like Boston Robotics who are developing humanoid robots, but we're not there yet. There are still quite a few things to do in terms of safety, in terms of what we would call the compliance of a robot. That is, how softly does it, when it comes against a feature or a hard feature, how does it mold itself? How does it bend? So as a human being, if I bang into you, yes, I might knock you over, but I'm not going to kill you. I can moderate my force that I'm going to apply to a particular situation. Most robots can't do that at the present time.
Right.
Although there are sensors that we're able to put on them and to be able to do certain things. But right now, we're not in that position to be able to generally put humanoid robots into spaces that human beings will be in. It's just too dangerous at this present time.
Are there any particular tips or things you'd like to highlight for students as you wrap up today in terms of their future career, things that they should be doing, or just philosophies that they should be embracing, specific actions that they should be taking on board immediately?
Wow, that's a big one. What obviously they're coming up to your end of year exams, so you need to do the work on that. But as I say, apply as much as you can to a wide range of different companies. If you know what you want to do, then obviously go for it. But if you've got a more generic or general feel to say, well, to be honest, I just want a job, then apply. And wherever you go and whatever you're doing, be enthusiastic and be flexible. And that will, as I say, take you a very long way. I say this to my family all the time, just be kind. And if you can be kind, that flexibility, enthusiasm, being a human being, it will take you wherever you want to go.
Some fantastic takeaways there from Patrick. Thank you so much. All right, well, Patrick, thank you so much. I'm going back to check. We've had some really nice feedback in the chat box. Brat Lannis is really very much appreciative, a student there. Chris Rice actually was our guest last month as well. I'd encourage you to go and check out Chris's story. Chris, really appreciated you sharing your story today as well. So thank you, Patrick.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dion.